First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Bahashim means in the name, Rakam means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. Also to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. This is Ezekiel chapter 33 and verse 7. It says, So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die, if thou dost not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So, that's the point of these videos, man, is that these videos, okay, these news articles that, me and the brothers always go into, this is to save you. This is to, first and foremost, wipe the blood off our hands, but to warn you of what's coming. Okay, and what's coming is World War III. Okay, what's coming is a time like never before seen, spoken of in Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1, the time of the end. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Right, so that's what's coming, is a time of trouble that has never been seen before. And we're seeing the beginnings right now.
The deadly protests nearing 2 weeks now to the growing unrest in Iran as the deadly protests nearing 2 weeks continue to spread. Demonstrators flooding the streets as the country's supreme leader threatens to expand the crackdown. President Trump is once again warning Iran's government and pledging his support to the people of Iran. Here's ABC's Marcus Moore.
Tonight, new images of the escalating violence gripping parts of Iran as tens of thousands flood the streets of Tehran and other cities calling for regime change. In this dramatic footage circulating online, a man with what appears to be a homemade flamethrower sets a motorcyclist on fire. They're only the latest images emerging of the chaos spreading in Iran. With pressure building, the country's leadership remains defiant as deaths mount in the streets. Aid groups say at least 65 people have been killed. The government imposing a communications blackout, cutting off the internet, cell phones, and landlines. Still, the protests that began 2 weeks ago have stretched into 13 straight days. People angry about severe inflation and the currency that has collapsed in value. Starting in the capital, then spreading to several other cities across the country, the protests have captured the world's attention, including the White House.
I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts.
When Iran's supreme leader is saying that tens of thousands of protesters are trying to please President Trump, while tonight, the exiled son of Iran's last Shah has called on people to continue protesting in the streets.
Marcus Moore, thanks so much. To say, okay, it's okay to fit. It's now to the growing.
Alright, so we see that right there. Okay. Growing unrest inside Iran. And ultimately, this is, as it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 9. We'll start at verse 2. It says, Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So what we're seeing is that this is the time of the end. Okay, these are prophecies of the end, that people were going to start coming against their governments because of the uncruel and just terrible living conditions. How people were going to start protesting, actually doing something. So this is also reiterated in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 5. It says, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And we see that all the time. But recently, the biggest spectacle was that guy over there in Nigeria, who pretty much built like 5 Noah's Arks, and he had a prophecy for a specific date, and he was saying, "Oh, on this date, the world will end," or something like that. It didn't happen, but what did end up happening is he left with a whole bunch of money, and there's a picture of him in sackcloth, literally, Nigerian pastor art. There's a picture of him in a Ghanaian pastor. But look at this picture. Right. He ended up getting himself a brand new Mercedes Benz. But I can't specifically find the picture I want. You have to type it in differently, but it is essentially he's in like sackcloth hanging out a BMW. But hey, false prophets coming in the name of Hamashiach and deceiving many. Or a lot of people fall for those schemes because, as it says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Right? They don't know the Bible how they think they know it. But verse 6 says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows." Right, so this is just the beginning what we're seeing. Okay, it's gonna get worse. Let's go into this one with Greenland.
It's hard to imagine this remote, tranquil Arctic wilderness is at the heart of a geopolitical crisis that is pitting the United States against its NATO allies and threatens to upend decades of global security. People here in Greenland are worried about what President Trump is saying. The latest things that he's saying is he could either have Greenland the easy way or the hard way. And what it is that people of Greenland treasure most, it is the tranquility, it is the closeness to nature, it is their culture here, their rights to go hunting, to go fishing. And they're worried that if the United States takes control of Greenland, all of that changes, plunging the world's 12th largest country, a population of only 57,000 people, into uncertainty. And I was speaking to someone here just a little earlier, and he said to me, look, what can we do if President Trump wants to take this country by force? We don't have a choice. So people are really concerned at this moment. Nick Robertson, CNN, on Nuuk Fjord, Greenland.
Right, so the whole thing with Greenland, and Trump came out saying, "Hey, we gonna do it the easy way. We gonna do it the hard way." And the president of Greenland pretty much said, if any U.S. soldier, steps on Greenland soil, we're gonna up it. We're gonna shoot on sight. So, Trump literally said, let's see what the latest thing he said, because a lot of things have been happening since recently. Trump, Greenland news. Let's see what the latest news is on that. We got the hard way, like I said. Trump says U.S. will do something on Greenland whether they like it or not. So this is something that's inevitable. Okay, and first and foremost, because it is prophesied. Okay, the Lord is the one that is controlling the chess pieces in this whole global political, fiasco. You gotta always remember that it is the Lord. Let's get that in Proverbs 21. In verse 1 it says, "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." Right, so when it comes to what's going on, the Lord is the one that is in control of the kings, okay, of the presidents, of Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump. He's in control of all of them, and it's all to lead to World War III. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 3. I'll start at verse 5. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, an evil and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come, that end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come." And that's what we're warning, is that the end is here. And you gotta repent and get right, because that is the only way to make it out of what's coming, is spiritual intervention. When you go into Ezekiel the 9th chapter, it talks about how the Lord is going to send forth death angels. Ezekiel 9 and 4, And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So this is going into, a time of spiritual judgment, of actual judgment, and that the only people that will not be touched are those that have that mark, which this is a different mark from the mark in Revelation 13 and 16. This is a spiritual mark, and it's a mark of exemption, a mark of being protected. And those people that have that mark are going to be the ones that are sighing and crying for all the abominations, which means wickedness, that is taking place. And that's going into the elect. So when as these times progress, and the Lord starts sending, his judgment, those angels are going to be slaying utterly anybody that doesn't have that mark, showing you at the end of the day, the only way to make it is the spiritual, is to be right with the Lord. So we'll get one more scripture, because there's a lot of people that have the mentality of, oh, this is not going to happen. My great grandma's been talking about this. You guys are just a bunch of fear mongers. Well, let's see. Ezekiel 12 and 27. Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesieth of the times that are far off. Right? People saying, hey, that's not going to happen in our lifetime. Therefore say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, saith Yahweh. Right, so just letting you know straight, these things are going to happen, and it's because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai says so. Hey, breaking news over here, U.S. strikes ISIS in Syria. Hey, things constantly going down. So, with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Kakwadash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.